In this video, let us discuss about service transition. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, goals. No organisation can be fully efficient or effective unless it manages its assets well, particularly those assets that are vital to the running of the customer's or organisation's business. The purpose of the SACM process is to ensure that the assets required to deliver services are properly controlled and that accurate and reliable information about those assets is available when and where it's needed. This information includes details of how the assets have been configured and the relationships between assets. Service assets that need to be managed in order to deliver services are known as configuration items, CIs. Other service assets may be required to deliver the service, but if they cannot be individually managed, then they are not configuration items. Every CI is a service asset, but many service assets are not CIs. For example, a server will be both a CI and an asset. The knowledge used by an experienced service desk person to manage incidents is an important asset, but is not a CI. Also, information that is stored on the server but is not under the control of change management may be a very valuable asset, but it is not a configuration item. It is important to note that many virtual assets, such as virtual servers or networks, may be CIs and require the same management control as physical assets. The scope of SACM includes management of the complete life cycle of every CI. Service Asset and Configuration Management ensures that CIs are identified, baselined and maintained, and that changes to them are controlled. It also ensures that releases into controlled environments and operational use are done on the basis of formal authorization. It provides a configuration model of the services and service assets by recording the relationships between configuration items. SACM may cover non-IT assets, work products used to develop the services, and CIs required to support the service that would not be classified as assets by other parts of the business. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM objectives. Ensure that assets under the control of the IT organisation are identified, controlled and properly cared for throughout their life cycle. Identify, control, record, report, audit and verify services and other configuration items, CIs, including versions, baselines, constituent components, their attributes and relationships. Account for, manage and protect the integrity of CIs through the service lifecycle by working with change management to ensure that only authorised components are used and only authorised changes are made. Ensure the integrity of CIs and configurations required to control the services by establishing and maintaining an accurate and complete configuration management system, CMS. Maintain accurate configuration information on the historical, planned and current state of services and other CIs. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, value to business. Optimizing the performance of service assets and configurations improves the overall service performance and optimizes the costs and risks caused by poorly managed assets, e.g. service outages, fines, correct license fees and failed audits. SACM provides visibility of accurate representations of a service, release or environment that enables IT staff to understand the configuration and relationships of services and the configuration items that provide them, better forecasting and planning of changes, successful assessment, planning and delivery of changes and releases, resolution of incidents and problems within the service level targets, delivery of service levels and warranties, better adherence to standards, legal and regulatory obligations, fewer non-conformances. More business opportunities as the service provider is able to demonstrate control of assets and services, traceability of changes from requirements, the ability to identify the costs of a service, reduced cost and time to discover configuration information when it is needed, proper stewardship of fixed assets that are under the control of the service provider. There are significant cost and resource implications in implementing SACM, and therefore strategic decisions need to be made about the priorities to be addressed. Many IT service providers focus initially on the basic IT assets, hardware and software, and the services and assets that are business critical or covered by legal and regulatory compliance, e.g. Sarbanes-Oxley software licensing. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, basic concepts. Service asset. A service asset is any resource or capability that could contribute to the delivery of a service. Examples of service assets include a virtual server, a physical server, a software license, a piece of information stored in a service management system, or some knowledge in the head of a senior manager. Configuration item. A configuration item, CI, is a service asset that needs to be managed in order to deliver an IT service. Examples of configuration items are a server or a software license. Every CI must be under the control of change management. Configuration items may vary widely in complexity, size and type, ranging from an entire service or system, including all hardware, software, documentation and support staff, to a single software module or a minor hardware component. Configuration items may be grouped and managed together. E.g., a set of components may be grouped into a release. Configuration items should be selected using established selection criteria, grouped, classified, and identified in such a way that they are manageable and traceable throughout the service lifecycle. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, basic concepts. Service Knowledge Management System, SKMS. The Service Knowledge Management System is a set of tools and databases that are used to manage knowledge, information and data. Many configuration items are available in the form of knowledge or information, and these are typically stored in the SKMS. For example, a service level agreement, a report template, or a definitive media library. The SACM process is not responsible for managing the SKMS. Some items in the SKMS will be owned and managed by the SACM process, but others will be owned and managed by other processes or people. The SKMS has 4 layers. Presentation layer enables searching, browsing, retrieving, updating, subscribing and collaboration. The different views onto the other layers are suitable for different audiences. Each view should be protected to ensure that only authorized people can see or modify the underlying knowledge, information and data. Knowledge processing layer is where the information is converted into useful knowledge which enables decision making. Information integration layer provides integrated information that may be gathered from data in multiple sources in the data layer. Data layer includes tools for the data discovery and data collection, and data items in unstructured and structured forms. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, basic concepts. Configuration record. A configuration record is a set of attributes and relationships about a CI. Configuration records are stored in a configuration management database, CMDB, and managed with a configuration management system, CMS. It is important to note that CIs are not stored in a CMDB. Configuration records describe CIs that are stored in the CMDB. Change management should authorize all the changes to configuration items, and all updates must include updates to the relevant configuration records. In some organizations, authority to modify CIs within the SKMS is assigned to configuration librarians, who are also responsible for modifying the configuration records in the CMS. In other organizations, there is a separation of duties to ensure that no one person can update both the asset in the SKMS and the corresponding configuration record in the CMS. Configuration Management Database, CMDB. A database used to store configuration records throughout their lifecycle. The configuration management system maintains one or more configuration management databases, and each database stores attributes of configuration items and relationships with other configuration items. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, Configuration Management System, CMS. A set of tools and databases that are used to manage an IT service provider's configuration data. The CMS also includes information about known errors, changes and releases, and may contain data about employees, suppliers, locations, business units, customers and users. The CMS is part of a larger Service Knowledge Management System, SKMS, that drives the effectiveness and value of service knowledge. CMS is maintained by configuration management and is used by all IT service management processes. The CMS maintains the relationships between all service components and may also include records for related incidents, problems, known errors, changes and releases. The CMS may also link to corporate data about employees, suppliers, locations and business units, customers and users. The CMS holds all the information about CIs within the designated scope. Some of these items will have related specifications or files that contain the contents of the item, e.g. software, document or photograph, and these should be stored in the SKMS. For example, a service CI will include the details such as supplier, cost, purchase date and renewal date for licenses and maintenance contracts. Related documentation such as SLAs and underpinning contracts will be in the SKMS. The CMS is also used for a wide range of purposes. For example, asset data held in the CMS may be made available to external fixed asset management systems to perform financial reporting outside service asset and configuration management. The Definitive Media Library, DML, is the secure library in which the definitive authorized versions of all media CIs are stored and protected. The DML should include definitive copies of purchased software, along with licensed documents or information, as well as software developed on site. The DML will also include a physical store to hold master copies, e.g. a fireproof safe. Only authorized media should be accepted into the DML, strictly controlled by SACM. Service Asset and Configuration Management, SACM, Definitive Media Library, DML. The DML is a foundation for release and deployment management. The exact configuration of the DML is defined during the planning activities. The definition includes medium, physical location, hardware and software to be used. If kept online, some service assets and configuration management support tools incorporate document or software libraries, which can be regarded as a logical part of a DML. Naming conventions for file store areas and physical media. Environments supported, e.g. test and live environments. Security arrangements for submitting changes and issuing documentation and software, plus backup and recovery procedures. The scope of the DML, e.g. source code, object code from controlled builds and associated documentation. Archive and retention periods. Capacity plans for the DML and procedures for monitoring growth in size. Audit procedures. Procedures to ensure that the DML is protected from erroneous or unauthorized change, e.g. entry and exit criteria for items. Procedures to ensure that the DML is backed up and that the contents are available for use in service continuity plans as appropriate. Relationship of the CMDB, the CMS and the SKMS. The relationship of the three levels, with configuration data being recorded within the CMDB and feeding through the CMS into the SKMS. The SKMS supports delivery of the services and informed decision making. The SKMS will contain many different types of data, information and knowledge. Examples of items that should be stored in an SKMS include the service portfolio, the configuration management system, CMS, the definitive media library, DML, service level agreements, SLAs, contracts and operation level agreements, OLAs, the information security policy. The CMS is part of an SKMS that includes data, information integration, knowledge processing and presentation layer.